Hi, I'm Potatoes O'Brien. This is going to be my first video, although I don't have a camera yet. So I'm kind of just doing this with a snowball. Hopefully I'll have a camera up and running soon. Also look like shit, so it's not really going to work out. But I really, while the subject is still fresh, I want to have a little tirade against something I saw regarding the Navy Yard shooter. I'll try and find it here just real quick. It is... Okay. Sorry about my tics. I'm Tourette's. So, I saw a link about the Navy Yard shooter from a site called DC Clothesline. It's obviously a conservative-driven site that, from what I'm seeing, doesn't seem to care about facts or reality. And I just want to address a couple of these points. It says what the media won't tell you about the Navy Yard massacre. You know, as if any of this stuff's going to matter, but I'm going to read it off anyway. What it says is on September 16, 2013, Aaron Alexis, the lone gunman armed with initially a shotgun, fatally shot 12 people, injured 3 others in mass shooting headquarters of Naval Sea Systems Command inside Washington Navy Shipyard in southeast Washington, D.C. The attack began around 8:20 a.m. We all know what happened here. This guy walked in and shot these people. But what really bothers me is all these things that are listed here. Like, number one, Aaron Alexis was an Obama bot Democrat. What the fuck is an Obama bot Democrat? Are you implying that he's a robot because he supports the current president? It doesn't matter. First of all, it doesn't matter what president or what policies you support unless those policies are connected to this shooting. Like, for example, you have the guy who, if you remember back when Sarah Palin had the graphic with the list of targets, and those are people who were, I guess, destroying America, apparently. I have to go back and look at it. And one of those people on that target, and they were actual crosshair targets too, one of them was Gabrielle Giffords. And this guy went in afterwards, shot Gabrielle Giffords. So that's something that leads directly to this violence. Or if you know the rhetoric of Fox News and stuff, where they say how Muslims are bad, you know, other people are bad people. They basically try to get you afraid of everybody. And then what you have, or if you remember, when Bill O'Reilly was calling this abortion doctor the baby killer, and it's called stochastic terrorism, where you can get people to hate people, and get your audience to hate people, and then your audience takes it upon themselves to enact the violence. But in this case, supporting Obama has nothing to do with shooting this Navy Yard. It's not like Obama himself said, "I don't like navies. I think we should." None of his policy, nothing he's ever said, has ever even implied that he wants violence done. That he wants gun violence. Nothing. Nothing about that. Nothing like that at all. But this article seems to imply that supporting Obama somehow makes you want to shoot places up, which is wrong. It says a good friend of Alexis, who referred to the latter as like a brother, told CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper that Alexis was more of a liberal type. Oh yeah, because, you know, liberals shoot everybody, of course. A registered Democrat who supported Obama. Obama has nothing to do with shooting places. That's not a non-point. Okay, number 2. It says, contrary to his complaints about being a victim of racism, Alexis enjoyed black skin privilege. Black skin privilege. This is, of course, 100% bullshit. because what they're trying to say is that his discharge was general and not dishonorable. It says, after accounts of Alexis are replete with him carrying a colossal chip on his shoulders, constantly complaining about being a victim of racial discrimination. Racial discrimination happens. Do we know whether he was discriminated? No. Does it matter? No. None of that whole sentence doesn't even matter. This whole discriminating thing has nothing to do with him shooting up a Navy yard. It says, but the truth is quite the opposite. Although Alexis left the Navy with an honorable discharge, which means he was rated good to excellent for his service, the Navy originally had intended for him to receive a general discharge. Okay, no, it was actually honorable, not general, which is given to service members whose performance is satisfactory but is marked by considerable departure in duty performance and conduct expected of military members. Again, that's not black skin privilege. The fact that the Navy decided on honorable discharge instead of a general discharge has not been shown at all to be related to this black skin privilege, and that's the fact that this website is calling it black skin privilege in and of itself is racist. But because as far as we're concerned, it has nothing to do with it. According to Navy official, Alexis was cited on at least 8 occasions for misconduct, including the source 8 occasions of misconduct. Yeah, he was crazy. We all know this. But it has nothing to do with the fact that he's black, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he supported Obama. 2004, he's arrested for shooting an airman's tires. That's well known. Alexis arrested for disorderly conduct in 2008, arrested Fort Worth for discharging a weapon within the city limits 2010. None of Alexis' arrests led to prosecution, and more than that, despite his arrests and misconduct, Navy still gave him an honorable discharge. Why is that? The answer is, Alexis had black skin privilege. It's so stupid. I don't even know what to say to this. Again, the fact that none of the arrests led to prosecution does not mean black skin privilege. Doesn't mean that at all. Unless you show that it means that. You can't. This isn't even jumping to conclusions. This is making up information and making up your own conclusion. Number 3, Alexis might be a jihadist. This one is by far the can I say stupidest? Most stupid? Most dumbest? Dumbest, most stupid one yet. The stupidest one yet. Because first of all, he's a Buddhist. We know he was a Buddhist, which is funny because you don't think Buddhists are going to shoot places up, but well, I guess it's the first for everything, and it's probably not the first. Of course, religion does not determine whether or not you're a good person. That's why people of all religions, and even some who are non-religious, commit violence, because religion has nothing to do with the violence. So it doesn't surprise me at all this guy could be Buddhist. It shouldn't really surprise anybody, but it does. Because we've been taught to believe that only Muslims could commit violence. Oh yeah, and atheists too. Atheists are evil. It says, on September 18, 2013, NBC News posted a story bylined by Kyle Epler. I don't care who bylined it. Navy gunman's mother says she is heartbroken, sorry for the families, she better be. And then somebody else says, law enforcement officials told NBC News that Alexis created a webpage with the name Mohammed Salem, but he never did anything with it. They said they had found nothing else that might indicate any interest in violent jihad or even in Islam. Then, I guess Debka. I'm not sure who Debka is. I guess it's another news site. Yeah, another news site. This news site asks, so how would they describe the deadly attack on the Navy facility, if not violent jihad? This is really dumb. Because jihad, I believe, is the Arabic word for war, And this guy wasn't trying to create war. He doesn't work for any terrorist sources. He did this because of his past. This guy is severely mentally unstable. He was schizophrenic and he heard voices, and this is documented that he had these issues. And then, of course, the worst one, because this one is just factually incorrect. It's not like this information is made up, it's just factually incorrect. Number 4, Bill Clinton is responsible for military bases being gun-free zones. It says, why were the victims unarmed on a military base? Helpless before their executioner. That's just simply not true. If you want to talk about the law that made schools gun-free, that was passed in 1990 while George H.W. Bush was in office. It was passed under a Republican. Not saying that's good or bad, but it certainly wasn't Bill Clinton. If you want to know why they're throwing Bill Clinton's name in there, it's because they made some small amendment to the law while Bill Clinton was in office. But it wasn't Bill Clinton that did it. It was some other guy in his administration. I think it's Secretary of not Defense. It was somebody in his administration that did that. It wasn't him. Also, I believe it was 96. There's a really good article from Media Matters on this that really just destroys this myth of gun-free zones. And I'm trying to find it now. I have so many tabs open. It basically goes on to say how and why they think that Bill Clinton was responsible for this. Which it's not true. The fact that some people aren't armed, soldiers aren't armed on military bases, and some of them are. One of this Navy Yard shooters' victims was armed. Gun didn't help him then, but he was armed. So it wasn't a gun-free zone. Military bases are not gun-free zones. This is not, nor has it ever been true. And it wasn't, what they're referring to, what it says here, is that the media conservatives are pointing to, it was not an executive order. Clinton didn't have anything to do with this one. But a regulation issued by the Department of the Army in March 1993 regarding firearms and military bases. While that rule said mostly soldiers are not allowed to carry weapons. And the Army certainly did not ban guns in those facilities. And they're right, it didn't. Soldiers are not allowed to walk around carrying their weapons. Probably for the same reason that this shooting even kind of happened in the first place. Same reason the Fort Hood shooting happened in the first place. You know, that's what happens. You let them walk around carrying firearms, there's a significantly higher chance that they're going to end up shooting these places up. Imagine how many more base shootings there would be if they didn't have this regulation. A lot more. So, you know, that fourth point is totally and 100% inaccurate. It's not true at all. Never was. You know, Bill Clinton wasn't the best. None of them were. No president was the best. But he certainly did not do this, what they were saying that he did. So, I'll repeat it. It says, why were victims unarmed on a military base helpless before their executioner? The answer, Bill Clinton. And that's just factually incorrect. And so, our military bases join other gun-free and gun-control, left-wing, la-la, happy lands in the United States. This is just unbearable to read. Where the law-abiding are defenseless, sitting ducks, and only the outlaws have guns. It's not one of these points. These are the I read off to you the 4 main points in verbatim, and they're all 4 of them are wrong. If you wanted to have a talk about why this guy shot this place up, maybe you want to take a look at the fact that after his previous crimes, after having shot this person's tires and discharging a weapon within city limits in 2010, how he was still able to buy a gun no problem. Seems to me like there's some problem with the background checks, which the previous law we recently had that failed, the gun control law that was stripped of all gun control. It only had, basically, its basic motive was to strengthen background checks, and it was still voted down. And that's why this guy was able to get the weapon he did, and that's why he shot the place up. That's basically it. Alright, I'm done. And I'm Potatoes O'Brien. Hopefully you'll be able to see me yelling at the camera soon instead of just yelling out my microphone like this. Sorry, I just want to add one more point. While I was editing all this stuff, it occurred to me that these 4 bullet points, if you really think about it, this article, along with the 4 bullet points, every point is a demagogue. Think about it. Every point is trying to get you to hate some kind of person. Number 1 is hate Obama or hate, Democrats in general, but mostly hate Obama. Number 2, hate black people. Number 3, hate Muslims. Number 4, hate Democrats. It's pretty sad when every one of those points is not a factual point at all. It's just trying to get you to hate somebody. This article has just been potatoed. For sure.